Question number 7 on the reading portion of College Board's Test 4. Which choice best describes the narrator's view of his expedition to the North Pole? Well, remember, if we can try to answer this question, by itself, before looking at the answer choices, the narrator's view of his expedition to the North Pole, he says his emotions are complicated and not readily verifiable in the beginning. And then he talks about how, he's like, I don't understand, line 27, what I don't understand is why I'm so intent on going to this place. Who wants the North Pole? What good is it? Can you eat it? Will it carry you from Gothenburg to Malmo? So he's saying, why do I want to do this? It doesn't provide any good. It doesn't provide any food. It doesn't provide any wealth, or there's nothing really there that can help people. So why do we want to go there? And he talks about, he kind of philosophizes about his, the fallen nature of man and our quest for knowledge and how we're condemned. And this is a torment for us. And he keeps saying, what would you find there? And suppose you were to go there, what would you find? Exactly nothing. But then what does he say at the end? So he's saying, like, when we have to ask this question, what is his view on his expedition? He says you wouldn't find anything there, but what would he find? He would learn to understand, line 57, himself. So what is his view on this? It seems like he acknowledges the fact that it's completely absurd and ridiculous, and it doesn't actually provide any benefit to anyone. And yet, it helps him raise himself on the philosophical ladder and to become more enlightened and to better understand himself in the world. So, which choice best describes the narrator's view of his expedition? Immoral, but inevitable. Immoral means that it's like not moral. It means like it's being immoral means like you steal or you lie or you cheat. It's like, is he saying that this is immoral? It's not good? If anything, I would argue he says, or he thinks that there are Dutch ministers who say that it's good for the soul's well-being, or that going to the North Pole is moral. So is he saying that it's immoral? That it's bad for the soul? It's bad for someone's conscience? I don't like the fact that it's immoral, but inevitable. And this is a really good bad answer. People would pick this because they weigh the inevitable part as being 100% of the answer, when in reality it's only 50% of it. Don't do that. Don't weigh certain parts of an answer choice more than another part. Because everything has to be true in order for the answer to be correct. It can't be like, well, this first word is not really true, but the other words in the answer are 100% correct. That's going to be the answer. No. Even though we might think it's inevitable, because it's the destiny and the machinery of his fate, and it's pushing him, the invisible hand, that is inevitable, but is it immoral? Is it bad for him? No, he actually finds it good for him. And there's nothing in the piece that tells us that it's bad or immoral. So I'm not a fan of this immoral part, even though inevitable makes sense. Absurd but necessary. Absurd means that it's ridiculous. And I can understand why it could be absurd, because in this case, absurd, he's saying, why would you want to go there? What good is it? Will it carry you like a railway? Can you eat it? He keeps asking, what would you find? What would you do there? It's exactly nothing. He's admitting it's absurd. And yet, what does he say? But necessary. I need to know and understand myself. That he's a dangerous man, and sometimes he needs to challenge his egotism by surrendering it. So I like on how it's absurd. He's acknowledging, what would you find? Nothing. He admits it's stupid, but necessary. He says, but I need to do it to understand myself. So I like B. What about C? Socially beneficial, but misunderstood. It is not socially beneficial. This part is not true, because he says, what good, why I'm so intent. What good is it? Who wants the North Pole? Can you eat it? Will it carry you from Gothenburg to Malmo? Those are socially beneficial things. And he's admitting the North Pole does none of these things. So it's not socially beneficial, but misunderstood. Maybe it's misunderstood, but it's certainly not socially beneficial, because this has nothing to do with the rest of civilization. What about D? Which choice best describes the narrator's view on his expedition? Scientifically important, but hazardous. Does he say that he's going there in order to conduct scientific research? This is a good bad answer, because you might overlay your own feelings and associations with a trip to the North Pole or some remote place for it being scientifically beneficial. He certainly says it's hazardous. He says that many people have died, no one succeeded. But does he ever say it's scientifically important? He never once talks about the scientific worth of this trip. He could have brought that up by saying, what good is it? Oh, it provides numerous scientific benefits for civilization. But he doesn't. Again, you might think that a trip to the North Pole implies scientific inquiry, but it has nothing to do with scientifically important anything. So that's not going to be the answer because it's not scientifically important. He admits that it's absolutely absurd. Nothing will come of it except a better understanding of himself. Therefore, which choice best describes the narrative view of his expedition to the North Pole? It's going to be absurd but necessary. He finds it ridiculous, and yet he also realizes it's necessary for him to better understand himself. Answer number 7 is going to be B.